Hi everyone, and welcome to Talking Over Tea. We wanted to come on here really quickly and talk about all of the books that we read in April and kind of talk a little bit about how this month has gone reading-wise and kind of the struggles we've had. So I want to just say that I barely read anything this month, and it's really sad for me, but I'm just going to try to not think about it too much and just kind of figure out how I can be a little different next month.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of reading. I did a lot of listening, which I still consider to be kind of reading, but like not the best. Like not in the best way. But yeah, it was kind of a sad month. I was just so unmotivated to read for most of it, and we kind of got back into it a little bit, but
yeah. Like Maddie said, the month wasn't like the best overall for us, just in a few ways, and I think that usually makes me not want to read as much. When I don't know, it feels sometimes like I don't have like the mental energy to do that, and I think things are changing, and I hope that that means like I'll be reading a lot more.
But yeah, but it's also okay to take a break
from
reading. It's kind of like we just needed it. Even though we love to read, I mean, and it's not like it's hard.
Yeah.
Just somehow it's just kind of like we've kind of put our identity in that a little bit, maybe too much, and so we just needed a break from it. Yeah. But it was kind of hard going through it because it was just like, I'm just never reading. Like,
I know.
And it's really sad because I just love to read.
And you feel bad for not reading because there is good reason to read and you know you want to, but then you just never really feel like it.
Yeah, but we did read a little bit, so we're gonna tell you about those.
Yeah.
I have been, like I said, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and I went on a little bit of a rampage of reading these books. So I listened to Artemis Fowl number 5, 6, 7, and I'm listening to 8 right now. And I also listened to The Reluctant Assassin and The Hangman's Revolution, which those are all by Owen Colfer. Oh, and Half Moon Investigations. Those were just all available, and I just needed like a comfort listen. So I have read all of those except for Half Moon Investigations like a bunch of times, but it's been a really long time. And I enjoyed the Artemis Fowl series a lot more than I thought I was going to. There is some things that I don't like about it, and it is occasionally kind of very juvenile in the humor, but it's also just really interesting and fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. That was while I was not reading anything at all, and I was just like listening to so many books.
So I started off the month by reading. I was pretty far in, but we ended up reading some other stuff for a video, so I didn't end up finishing this one, but I'm pretty close and will finish this one up fairly soon. It's been pretty good. I kind of have to look past all of the things that I don't like about her writing, which is sometimes feels like a lot of things, but it's still good, and I've been invested in the characters, so I've wanted to see how it's all going to end, and I still don't know how it's going to end, but things have been pretty interesting so far, and I'm looking forward to just finishing this one out, because...
Actually, I did, since we're talking about unfinished books, I did start this one. I started Ignite the Sun by Hannah C. Howard, and I'm not very far in it. It's not amazing, but it's not been too bad. I was reading that one until we started this video, and then I read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson for that, so I'm not really going to talk about it because we will be talking about it in a couple weeks. But I did really enjoy this one. This is about a girl named Spensa who is living on the planet Tritus. They are like living underground because they are being attacked by these alien spaceships, and they crash landed there, and they've like had all these clans, and then they like all formed together and made like this military base that's like a school, and they're like just trying to fend off these aliens so that they don't like destroy their whole world. And she is trying to get into the flight school because she wants to destroy all of the aliens. Is that what she wants to do?
Yeah, and her dad was a pilot, and everyone thinks he betrayed his wingmate, so she kind of wants to
Prove them wrong.
yeah,
because everyone, like, she's
an outsider.
Yeah, and everyone, because of him, like, she's the coward's daughter, and she's trying to prove that, well, she doesn't think he was a coward, and she's also trying to prove that she isn't.
So I read Howl's Moving Castle for this video that will be coming out, so I'm not going to say too much either, but this is about Sophie, who gets turned into an old lady because she is mistaken for her sister. She meets this really weird guy named Howl because she is trying to figure out how to not be an old lady anymore. I thought it was a really interesting book and I enjoyed it.
And then the last book I read is The Light in Hidden Places by Sharon Cameron. This is a World War II historical fiction based on the true story of Stefania Podgorska. Yeah. I don't know how to say her name, and all the names are Polish, so I could not pronounce any of them, but I really enjoyed this. She was very young during the war, and she hid a bunch of Jews for a very long time, and it was I really, really enjoyed this book. And if you want to know more, we will be talking about it a little more in the next video.
Lastly, I read The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro for my English class. Maddie has also read this book and talked about it like way in the beginning of our vlog. This one follows the butler Stevens, and he is writing in a journal about his memories as being a butler through the years and a trip that he's taking in the present day. The book probably spans around from like the 30s to possibly the 60s or somewhere around there, with just all the times that he's remembering. And I really, really liked this book. It is a little bit dry and slow, but it's also like really funny and engaging, and like I was never bored, and I was always very invested in the things that he had to say. And it also had some really great points about working and dignity, and it made me think a lot, as well as being really entertaining in a book that I really enjoyed.
I remember when I was reading this for English, I really liked it. Like, it's definitely not an action-packed, exciting book, but somehow it was just like, even though it felt really dry and slow, like, somehow it was just really, like, you just want to keep reading it. Like, I don't know if you want to keep reading it, but you really like it. Even though it feels like, I mean, it's a butler in butlery language.
And it was so amazing how he could like just start remembering a story, and then you would just be like in that story immediately. It's like you'd forget whatever he was doing before he started telling this story. We both really enjoyed this one, and I would definitely read it again someday or recommend it to others.
So that was everything that we read in April. It's not a lot, but yeah, like we said, it's okay to take a break, and it's kind of nice to get back into reading though. Like, it kind of feels even better after we hadn't, I don't know, for me, like after we hadn't been reading at all, and then we start to read, and you just kind of like remembering everything you liked about it.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of happened for me when we tried to read for 3 hours a day, but then, I don't know, just, I kind of felt like that for that week, and then it kind of went away, and I don't know if that was just burning out or if things just happened, but I think having a more gradual, like, getting into that more gradually will be a good thing, and especially as I'm finishing up school, that takes a lot of my time and also makes me read a lot of things that I don't necessarily want to read or like for my free time. So when I'm finished with school, I think I will be reading a lot more. Do you think you'll read more in May, or will it look kind of the same? Or
I think I definitely will read more in May. Like, I hope I do. I have quite a few things that I would like to read, so I think having some things that I'm interested in will be a little bit more motivating. That's what we read, and we're hoping to read a little bit more in the coming months, and I don't know what else to say.
If you're going through a similar phase in reading, or you know, are listening to a lot of audiobooks instead of maybe physically reading, hopefully this was kind of encouraging for you to see that we're going through the same thing, and it's it's not gonna be forever, and it's also okay to go through it.
Yeah, it just kind of comes and goes. That's what I found with all my hobbies. Sometimes I'm like doing it so much for like a little while, and then I just completely stop, and then it comes back. We want to thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.